Rice is the caloric foundation of human civilization. Approximately half the global population depends on it as a dietary staple. In the United States, it is among the most commonly consumed grains, appearing in baby food, breakfast cereals, gluten-free products, and the daily meals of millions of households, particularly in Asian American, South Asian American, and Latino communities where rice holds deep cultural significance alongside its nutritional role. It is also, because of a specific combination of plant biology and agricultural practice, among the most reliable delivery mechanisms for inorganic arsenic in the human food supply. Inorganic arsenic is a Group 1 carcinogen, the highest classification the International Agency for Research on Cancer assigns. It is associated with bladder cancer, lung cancer, skin cancer, cardiovascular disease, and developmental neurotoxicity in children exposed during pregnancy and early childhood. Unlike organic arsenic compounds, which the body processes and eliminates relatively efficiently, inorganic arsenic bioaccumulates. The exposure it creates is not acute; it operates on the scale of years and decades, producing risks that are statistically significant at the population level but nearly invisible at the individual level until disease manifests. Rice absorbs inorganic arsenic from soil and irrigation water more efficiently than virtually any other grain crop, and the reason is agricultural rather than botanical. Rice is grown in flooded paddies, anaerobic soil conditions that release arsenic-bound to iron minerals into the water, making it bioavailable for plant uptake. Wheat, oats, and most other grains grow in aerobic conditions that sequester soil arsenic far more effectively. This isn't a problem of contamination in the industrial sense, it's a function of how rice grows, which means it applies to organic, conventional, brown, white, and every other rice variety. Brown rice carries higher arsenic loads than white rice because the bran layer where arsenic concentrates is retained rather than removed in milling. The FDA has been monitoring arsenic in rice since 2011 and has established action levels for infant rice cereal, a category of particular concern because rice cereal has historically been recommended as a first food for infants, who are simultaneously the most vulnerable to neurotoxic heavy metals and the most consistent consumers of rice-based products. The American Academy of Pediatrics now recommends diversifying infant grain intake rather than relying primarily on rice cereal, a recommendation that has had limited uptake among families who grew up with rice cereal as the default first food. The mitigation strategies available are practical and meaningful without requiring rice elimination. Rinsing rice thoroughly before cooking and using a high water-to-rice ratio, boiling in excess water and draining rather than absorption cooking, can reduce inorganic arsenic content by 25 to 50% depending on the variety. Diversifying grains by incorporating oats, quinoa, millet, and barley reduces cumulative exposure for heavy rice consumers. For infants specifically, rice cereal should no longer be the default first grain. And for communities where rice is culturally non-negotiable, the risk conversation needs to be delivered without the implicit cultural dismissiveness that sometimes accompanies public health messaging. The goal is harm reduction through practical strategies, not replacement of a food tradition.